we're good. All right, well, welcome, everybody. So today's the beginning of April session, um, and this week looks pretty bad. So when I look at maybe I'll look at the rankings and I'll share my screen. Our investments look. I don't know if we could it could be any more terrible than what you're seeing here. Oh, nothing. What am I? What's that? I think I was showing like wrong thing. Um, I meant to show this one. All right, so um, not portfolio rankings. Yeah, like I think Vivian is just really holding cash, so that actually is helping us to compare because she hasn't invested anything, so really just cash. So you could earn interest in cash, which is very, very minimal. But yeah, just look at the rest of us. Um, and that is fine. And I'm all at the bottom. So hey, you guys should be feeling not so bad. Um, but yeah, like it's just been really brutal this week. Just looking at some stocks like Tesla, for example, went down 10.4% just to do like a daily chart. Just to show you what it looks like. And I'll do it this way. So Tesla ended the market today, like right there. They were on the rebound, and we talked about that. It was looking good, and then tariffs and just everything just went down. I'm looking at what company did we cover? What company did we cover last week? You guys remember? What company did we cover last week? Just write it in chat or feel free to unmute. You guys remember what company we covered last week? Anyone? No one remembers? We talked about semiconductor, one of the most expensive equipment in the
Oh,
world. Was it?
I'm think. Oh no. Oh, wait. What was it? What was it?
They sell one of the most expensive equipment in the world. Most doctors,
ASML?
yeah, ASML. So we talked about ASML. Great. Um, so ASML, and I'll put it right here. ASML. Oops. ASML. They're down too, but not so bad today. But yeah, just this week, the tariffs is just killing all the stocks, right? Including ASML. So yeah, we did talk about ASML. Nvidia is down 7% today. You see, like it's going down. Anyway, so not looking good this week. But we're here to learn, and thankfully, all the money in here, it's like virtual money. It's not real money. So, because if it is, then we'll be like crying a lot, right? But I'm sure some of you do have like real stocks too, and so but anyway, in the long run, like we talked about, I think it's going to be okay still. So because like when you look at Nvidia, like that's the price today, but like just go back. Let's see. When was this? This was May last year, or like here. Let me see. When was this one? This was March last year. So before March, like it was all the way down here. So it still has doubled since last January. So it's still doing pretty good in the long term, but in the short term, not looking good, right? In the short term, it's on a down, like sort of down slope. Okay, so we are going to talk about why. Oh, by the way, just looking at this chart here, um, are you guys familiar with what M7 is? M7, M7, or seven. Oh, you know what? Let me just change so I hear you better. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. Are you familiar with M7 is? M7. Anyone? Magnificent Seven. So they they relate to like very specific companies. Aragorn.
It's the seven biggest tech companies.
Yeah, so what are the names of those companies? Give me some examples.
Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Meta, Tesla, Amazon.
Yeah, so like a lot of the companies you're seeing here. So Apple here, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Alphabet. So this is Saudi oil, right? Meta and Tesla. So that's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So those are the top seven US companies, tech companies, and they're collectively called M7. Um, they lost, you know what? We'll start off by talking about this a little bit. This is just a couple minutes here, and this video is like from earlier today. Just take a watch, take a look on this one.
You're an analyst. What do you do?
I mean, look, 25 years covering tech and markets. It's
Tech person.
probably the most absurd 36 hours that I've ever seen because my view is that this is an economic Armageddon if these tariffs come through. And I think from a
Quick question: do you guys know what Armageddon is? What is Armageddon? There are movies about it too. What is Armageddon?
I only heard like the song. I don't
Yeah.
know what it
All
means.
right. So yeah, there's a song on it too. What is Armageddon? Anyone know?
Maybe it's like when a person is really strong or like kind of immortal, maybe?
Ah, well, the movie is really this one. If there's like a big asteroid that hits Earth, that will wipe out Earth. You guys heard about the comet that sort of made dinosaurs extinct? Something fell from the space and hit Earth and created like a big boom, and then Earth got cold and all these dinosaurs died. Um, that was all caused by comet, right? So Armageddon is like, well, what if always a potential? What if Earth collides with a major, like a big, uh, you know, comet? It doesn't even have to be that big. Like, mm, the one that wiped out dinosaurs was pretty small. It's not even that big. Right? You're talking about like a size of like small city, right? Falling from the sky, hitting Earth, and destroying everything, right? Well, that's what Armageddon is. So the person is talking about that, like tech Armageddon is what he's saying. He's one of the most like positive person in terms of let me just turn this on in English. Um, one of the most positive persons in technology stocks. And just listen to what he says. Just I'll play this for 2 more minutes.
tech perspective, in terms of probably like one of the biggest assets we have in this country, it would take us back potentially a decade and it would steamroll China ahead. And that's why our whole point right here, even if you got a deal in a month or two, you're already looking at 5 to 10% earnings cuts across the board in tech just to start. And I think that's really the worry right now as a tech investor.
Apple, American icon. And for that reason, nobody believes this is going to happen. They're looking for exemptions. They report in a month, at the very start of May. How do they offer any guidance at all?
Oh, I mean, we've said we don't believe Apple, or actually basically any other tech company gives guidance because you're essentially blindfolded playing darts, giving guidance. And it comes down to like, if you wanted to implode Apple and you wanted to actually try to figure out the formula to actually make this company, what I really view, it could take them back years. It's this tariff because it comes down to a 54% from China. It would take 3 years and $20 billion to take even 10% of the supply chain to the US. If you want $3,500 iPhones, we should build them in New Jersey. We should build them in Texas. If you like $1,000 iPhones, you build them in China. And I think that fundamentally.
Yeah, so that's what he's talking about, right? Tariff and impact of tariff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So that's a little bit of introduction. Let me move this over here. And start. All right, so new month. Let's see. All right, so
reciprocal tariff. This was Trump 2 days ago. He made this, actually 3 days ago, he made this announcement, right? I think it was Tuesday US time. So yeah, 3 days ago. So here's first question. What we talked about this before, I think. What is reciprocal? So that's a vocabulary word today. It's in red. What does reciprocal mean? What do you guys say? What is reciprocal? I mean, you guys are doing math in school. You guys have never heard of reciprocal? So how do you not? Oh, you have never heard it? Okay. Um, yeah, reciprocal is like, yeah, I think maybe I'll try to find it in math. Reciprocal in math, it's sort of like this one. Oh, like this one. You have 3/4, and the reciprocal of that is 4/3. You flip it, right? That's what reciprocal means in math. Um, so like 8, reciprocal of 8 is like 1/8, right? You flip it, right? 1/5. So that is reciprocal. So just going back here, right? And don't forget that term because you're gonna hear it again in math. Absolutely, 100% you're gonna hear it in math. Um, what do you think reciprocal tariff mean? What do you think that means? Yeah, Kea.
Tags that have swapped places.
Okay, swap places. Okay, you're getting closer. Yeah. Anyone else? What is reciprocal tariff? Because that's what he talked about. You see, Trump is holding this sign right here. It says reciprocal tariffs. And I just showed you what reciprocal is, and we talked about tariff. So what could this mean? Yubin or Mina? Ayun, any one of you wanna try this? Yeah, Kea.
Maybe when like how much the tax goes up and it's kind of changes with the other amounts of
Yes. So you're getting closer. Um, so another thing is like look at all what is listed here on the first column.
the what is it? Countries.
Yeah, name of countries, right? Name of countries and tariff charged to the US here, USA discounted reciprocal tariff. So basically what he's saying is China, you're taxing us? I'm taxing you back. EU, you're taxing us? I'm gonna tax you back. Vietnam, you're taxing us? I'm doing it back. Taiwan, Japan, India, Korea, Thailand, Switzerland, and all these countries, he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna have tariff on some of our products? We're gonna tariff you. That's what he's saying. Uh, what do you guys think about that? And this is not a flat rate. Like China doesn't charge 67% tariff on every single thing that they import from US. Um, and it's a lot more complicated than that, but they do have tariffs, yes. But it's not 60% tariff on everything. Trump is saying we're gonna put 34% tariff on anything from China. So what things are what things are made in China? Or you know what I should say, what things are not made in China? I think everything's made in China, right? When you think about things like iPhones to like like electronics, China is a big part of that. And he's saying 34% tax. Okay. So and that's why the guy on the interview was saying iPhone cost like about $1,000 in the US, $1,000. He's saying it's gonna cost $3,500 if they were to build this in the United States. Do you think that's good or bad? Yeah, really bad, right? So how do you think the market reacted? Well, that's why everything's red. Um, right? So we're gonna do a little bit about tariff, because now this has become super important. It wasn't a big thing. A lot of the countries went towards free trade agreements. Let's not tax each other. Let's not have tariff. You produce one thing, we'll produce something else. Maybe your country has lots of coffee. Our country has lots of mangoes, and we'll just swap. We'll trade. Everyone benefits. Well, uh, so tariff is designed to not do that. So, tariff is a tax um, by country on the goods and services imported from another country. And the next part is the most important thing, to influence, raise revenues, or protect competitive advantages. So, for example, if a US has, or Korea too, or Japan, let's say you have flying car, like companies that you're building, right? Flying cars, drones, or cars, like flying cars. um and it's quite expensive to research the technology and to test it, right? Do all of those things, right? Let's say in the US it costs like I don't know, $10,000 to make one of these things, for easy number's sake. Well, let's say it costs $2,000 in China to make. Who's gonna have advantage? Who's gonna have the advantage? You guys are quiet today. So go ahead and unmute. Hayun, I'm just gonna call random. Yeah, Hayun. If China can make flying cars for $2,000 and US makes it for $10,000, what's gonna happen?
US has the advantage.
US it costs $10,000 to make in the US,
Yeah.
and
So in China,
China. So advantage is like China. Why? Yeah, Aragon, why?
because it
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Hayun, go ahead.
costs less.
Yeah, it costs less, so they could sell for less price, right? If they could make it for $2,000, well, even if they, do a little bit of profit, let's say they sell it for $3,000, is what's gonna happen to the U.S. flying car company? What's going to happen?
It's gonna die.
Yeah, it's gonna die. Like it's really gonna die, right? They're not gonna be able to sell anything, um, because they cannot get to the point. You know how some cars are super expensive, especially handmade cars. Um, when you produce them like in thousands, and or you know what? I'll show you this one. If you could buy one t-shirt, it's going to cost you, let's say, $10. But if you could buy 1,000 t-shirt, they may sell you for 1,000. But the t-shirts cost $1 each then, right? But they sell 1,000. Right? So when you produce something in a large amount, it's going to get cheaper. Um, so like, but to get to that point, you need to have the technology. You need to make sure you have the safety things figured out, and that takes time and money. So if China produces $2,000 flying cars and US produces $10,000 cars, well, there's no competition. The Chinese company will kill like Korea, US, and any other countries that spend more than $2,000 to make the car. So that's why you consider having tariff to protect your, like, especially these younger companies or industries, right? You need to protect it for it to grow so that maybe US could eventually lower their price to $2,000 as well. But you need time, right? So that's how tariff was designed to protect, competitive advantages as you see at the bottom. So that was the initial purpose of tariff. Anyway, this is what you see. I highlighted Japan, Korea, China's all, at the very top. US, these countries sell more to the US than buying from US. So US is always like they need to borrow money, right? Deficit means you're losing money. So US is in deficit like $300 billion against China, against Korea, $66 billion. So that means Korea is selling more to US than US is selling to Korea. So for example, like let's say Hyundai cars or Samsung phones, or Shinramen, right? Those are tteokbokki, right? Those are sold to the US. Um, Whereas like the US products, I don't know, what are some US products? I can't even think of any. Clothes or shoes, whatever, are not sold as much in Korea. And all these countries sell more to the US than US selling to them. And that's why like, US is saying we need to change something. We need to do something different. We're always borrowing money. We're spending too much. Well, you know what? Let's just tariff them so that these countries will build factories in the US and produce in the US. Um, or yeah, that's what they're trying to do. And what happened today? What does this say? So US came up with the tariff 3 days ago, right? The Trump, like this picture was 3 days ago, Tuesday. He's like, yep, we're gonna tariff everybody. China's at the very top. We're gonna tariff you. And China said, you know what? We are gonna put more tariff on yours. So they announced that today. So we're gonna do reciprocal tariff to you too. It's like eye for an eye, right? All right, you did that to me. Oh, I'm gonna do that to you. And then, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do that to you. It's like when you fight, right? You get things worse, right? You escalate the situation, make things worse. Well, that's what's happening. And when the world's number one economy and number two economy, US and China, starts doing that, what do you think is gonna happen? Market crash. Yeah, market crash is happening. So hopefully you guys should learn when you fight your brothers or sisters or friends, learn to stop. Because you just keep escalating things, it's going to make things worse, right? So here's like a, I think Time magazine like image. President Trump's mindless tariffs will cause economic havoc, make things worse, right? US used to have lots of tariff long time ago. Um, do you see, when do you see the big, like highest tariff rate? Right, this goes back to 1921, so like 200 years. Yeah.
1830.
Yeah, 1830 years or so. Yeah, that's at the highest right there. Yep. And then when else? It's like right here, right?
9.
2000, I'm sorry, 1009, I'm sorry, 1920 to 1930. This goes up a lot. Do you know what happened around this time? 1929? Does anyone know? 1929? 1929. There's something called Great Depression, or stock market crash. Here's like image probably that I could find. Is it? Yeah, so here like 1920s in US, everything was looking good. This is 100 years ago. Everything was looking good, going all the way up. And look what happened to stock. Crashed. Like even lower than where it started. It crashed. So this caused like a massive so Wall Street in panic as stocks crash. You know what US used to do at this time?
What?
Lots of tariff.
Oh.
Right? You look at that chart again. US was raising tariff right here, right? You see that? Raising tariff all the way up here. That coincided with the Great Depression, which is like it was like a 10 years of minus growth. Everything just crashing. 10 years. So that was the last time tariff was really high, 100 years ago, or now about 80 years ago. And then after that, just really went down, like low tariff, low tariff. You see, like in the very, very low, right? Um, Another question. So that's when tariff was, well, there was a Great Depression. What happened in the world around 1939, 1940? Yeah, Aragorn, you're muted. What happened
World
1939?
War,
What? You gotta like,
World War II.
yeah, World War II. World War II happened, and that's when uh, the country started to produce lots of things. They produced tanks, planes, rifle, bullets, boats, all those things, and that got out of the depression, right? Because U.S. had to produce so many things, and so that was one example. So like tariff right now, is that a good thing? Probably not. And so average tariff rate, it was low, less than 2%. And then Trump's first term went up a little bit. Biden lowered it a little bit. And look what happened again. Trump's like, you know what, let's just raise it. And this number is much higher because like China is 34%. So this is 10%, much higher. What's happening as a result of what's happening as a result of that? What do you think is going to happen to price when there's tariff? Oh, sure. Let me do a quick thing. Look around you. Find me two things that are not made in Korea or wherever your country is right now. If you're in Japan, something that's not made in Japan. If in US, something that's not made in US. Just find two things around you that are not made in your country where you are right now. Okay, Kia, what is that?
I don't know. I just like
Oh, Fanta. Okay. What country is that made from?
China.
China. Okay. Others. What do you guys find? Just look around you. Find something. It could be clothes. It could be electronics. It could be anything. Pencil case, water bottle. Two things that are not made in your current country. What is that? What's made out of where?
China.
China. Okay. Yep.
That's one.
Yeah. Hayoung, what do you find? What did you find?
A mechanical pencil.
Okay. Mechanical pencil is
Uh,
made from where?
Japan.
Japan. Okay. What else do you see? Right?
Have two things in China.
Yeah, that's in China. Yeah, earphone from China too, right? Okay, yeah. Mina and Aragorn, Yubin, you guys find anything that's not made in your current country around you? It should be easy to find. Like,
My pencil case is made in China.
main specification in China. Okay. Uh, I mean, you can already look at.
Um, yeah, also there's something like a toy in front of me that is made in China and a
Okay.
notebook made in China.
All right, so lots of Chinese products. Yep. And then Aragorn, go ahead. Yep.
This laptop.
Made from. Yeah, made from where?
China.
China. Okay. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen when U.S. Not just U.S. but let's say country puts 34% tariff on Chinese products? Who's gonna pay for that? Is it Chinese like that are paying for it? Who's paying for the higher price? Who's paying more? Okay. Anyone else? Who's paying more? So your pencil case, your water, your toys, if there's like 30% more expensive, who's paying for that? Any guesses? You guys could guess. Well, who's paying? Any idea? You, yeah.
Like between Trump and Biden.
Okay, so you think the government is paying uh the taxes or tariff? Okay. Anyone else? If your pencil is made from China, or your toy or your laptop, um, and there's like 30% tax, it's actually people who buy things who's going to pay more, right? The things that you buy are going to be more expensive. Instead of $1,000 iPhone, it's $1,300 iPhone. Instead of like $1 pencil, it's gonna be $1.30. It's gonna be more expensive, and typically, it's mostly the consumers, people who buy, who are going to pay more. So what's gonna happen to? Do you guys remember inflation? You guys remember inflation? What is inflation? What happens to the value of money? What happens to value of this, like, $1 bill um in 1 year? What happens? The value of this goes down, right? Things get expensive every year. So with tariff, does the inflation go up or down? Goes up, right? Yeah, it goes up, right? So cost of everything's gonna go up. If there's tariff on coffee, that will go up. If you like, what's your favorite like fruit that you don't see in your country? I don't know. It could be, let's say, mango or dragon fruit, or I don't know, something exotic fruit from tropical regions. That's gonna be very expensive for you to buy if there are tariffs. So it's not good to have tariffs. All right, so the next part, all right, so we're gonna skip this part. I'm gonna have you guys do mini research first before we start, looking into companies. What you're going to do is industries affected by tariff. So what you're going to do is you're gonna choose one of these. So there are a bunch of them. Let me just delete this one. Consumer electronics, like iPhone, laptop, or whatnot. There's automotive, agriculture, semiconductors, solar energy, apparel, footwear, toys and games, pharmaceutical, aviation, rare earth minerals. You're gonna choose one of these category and just put your name on it. Um, and just make sure there's no overlap. And you're going to find some companies. So consumer electronics, for example, what type of companies are impacted with this US like tariff? Like, for example, Apple, or it could even be Samsung, right? Impacted, right? What is the tariff rate? Key products like impacted, countries involved, like potential effects. So I want you to do like short research and find these things, and then put in these things. So for now, like in chat, could you guys write down which one you want to do? So the category um actually is like you can see right here. Uh Consumer electronics, automotive, agriculture, semiconductors, solar energy, apparel and footwear, toys and games, pharmaceuticals. I think I also have aviation and rare earth minerals. Right, so Aragorn says toys and games, so you could do that one. What about others? Which ones do you want to do? Consumer electronics, Hayun, okay. Anyone else? Apparel, footwear, Yubin. What else? A couple more. I think two more. Who are we missing? Mina and Kea, which ones are you doing? So just write it in chat.
Rock, scissors, paper, shoot.
Oh, this first comes first service. So first come first serve. So
Okay, then
something, yeah, something new that you don't see in chat.
Minna can I think
All right, you know what? I'm gonna post a link to this document here. Go to page 11 to look at categories, or page so take up what your slide, your category. So Aragon Toys and Games, Hayun Consumer Electronics, Yubin Apparel Footwear, Mina Semiconductors, and Kea, which choose one from the remaining here. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this first slide again. Okay, yeah, so take a few minutes like researching what are some companies that are impacted, and what is the tariff rate on
Oh,
these
wait.
products?
Mina wrote semiconductors.
Yeah, semiconductors, yes. Oh, did you choose semiconductors?
No, I chose solar energy.
Oh yeah, okay, then you could do solar energy. That's fine.
Oh.
All right, so everybody look into your industries. I'll stop sharing. And yeah, just come up with some numbers and do some research. Okay. All right, 5 minutes.
Oh.
Resume the recording. All right. So in no particular order, like if you're done, I feel like Mina, you're good to go. So I'm just gonna start with yours. 1 second. All right. So yeah, go ahead, Mina. You want to talk?
Oh, yeah, I chose semiconductors for my industry. And some example companies are Broadcom, Samsung, Intel, Qualcomm, NVIDIA, TSMC, Micron Technology, AMD, SK Hynix, ASML Holding, NXP. Tariff rate For the tariff rate, I chose US. The United States currently has a trade-weighted average import tariff rate of 2.0% on industrial goods. One half of all industrial goods imports enter the United States duty-free. Key products impact to semiconductors, pharmaceuticals,
Yeah, pharmaceuticals. Yeah.
and critical minerals.
Mhm.
And for the countries involved, there is not much result, so I just chose the one that were a bit like really close and related.
Okay.
US, China, Malaysia, and Vietnam.
Right.
And the potential effects are a semiconductor tariff could lead to increased costs for consumers and tech firms, potentially disrupting global supply chains, raising production costs, and impacting international trade relationships.
All right, great. Yeah, so pharmaceutical there, I don't think anyone's doing pharmaceutical, but that's talking about medicine, things like yeah, health, medicine. Um, okay, good. Yeah, everyone, do you have a question? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Let's just finish this. So oh yeah, a lot of these companies are not US based. So we talked about TSMC, we talked about ASML, SK Hynix, Samsung, right? I think Qualcomm, Intel, the US based, but yeah, all these companies have like production that could be overseas. So again, like Apple is a US company, but makes significant portion of its product in China. So it's global, right? It's globalization. That's what happened in the past like 50 years. Lots of globalization, free trade. And then this one president comes along, says, you know what, we're gonna just reverse everything. We're gonna tariff everybody. Yeah, that's why you're seeing what you're seeing with the stock market. All right, good. Errol, I think you wanted to go next, right? So go ahead.
Yeah, I did toys and game companies. The most impacted companies are Hasbro and Mattel. This is because it got put up 20%, like the places that make it got like tariffed on 20% on China, 46 on Vietnam, Indonesia 32%, and India 26%. Very high tariff rates. their products were like action figures and dolls, which lots of little kids use. Countries involved are the countries like US, China, Vietnam, India, and Indonesia. Potential effects is like shutting down those toys and games companies, which would lead to having like less games and toys and a different diversity of them.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yeah, which is not good, right? So toys are gonna get more expensive, which is not good for kids, right? Or families. All right. And yeah, those are the two of the largest game and toy companies. And so yeah, big impact. Let's see. Okay, are you still I see that you're still working on it. Let's see. You've been?
So I picked apparel, footwear, and example companies are Nike, Adidas, Lululemon, Zara, H&M, Puma, Under Armour, Timberland, DTC, and tariff rates are approximately 98% of clothing, 99% footwear that is sold in the US is imported, and key products impact is sportswear, fast fashion, and sneakers. Countries involved are China, India, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Turkey, and potential effects are high greenhouse gas emission and water pollution and textile waste.
Yeah, so those are the like I guess environmental impact of these things. I think so I think you said 98% of the clothing are tariff. So that's not the tariff rate though, right? Like tariff rate is how much is the tariff on, let's say, Nike shoes coming from Bangladesh or China, right? So if you could find that, that would be great. But yeah, there's like, pretty significant tariff there too. Um, Okay, so just try to find that number. Let's see, Kea or Hayun, are you? Let's see, Hayun, are you still working on it? Kea, yeah, you could talk about yours. You're muted, Kea.
I have to finish like one little piece of. Can I write it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so as you can see, like in the meantime, I could talk about rare earth minerals. Right? We talked about like rare earth minerals, like Ukraine. We talked about that as an example. Um, yeah, they're trying to control that or put, there's no tariff on it, but it's the other way. Um, these countries are prohibiting exporting these rare earth minerals, like China, for example, particularly minerals that go in like special weapons and things like that, or future technologies. They don't want to export those, so it could go like both ways. Let's see. All right, are you ready, Kia? Go ahead. Kia, did we lose you? You're still there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have to find my little last teeny weeny.
I mean, I'm sharing my screen, so you should be able to see through Zoom.
Oh no, like there's one thing I haven't wrote yet.
It's okay. Just do what you can for now.
Okay.
Or Hayun, are you also still researching?
I
Yeah.
finished.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I have to go soon, but I'll just say it.
Yeah.
So the example companies that I chose was Next Era Energy, and the tariff rate I chose the United States, and they're currently working with US like this Next Era Energy, and like Mina said, like the US has been trading a average 2.0% in industrial goods, and the Next Era Energy, the tariff with the US is $3.45 to $3.74 2025. And like the key products that are most impacted is solar panels and wind turbines. And the countries involved is United States and Canada, and the potential effects are that the regularity changes project development risk rather impacts. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean to press the button. It's got pressed. Yeah.
impacts
Yeah.
and market fluctuations.
Yeah. So and China dominates this market, solar. And that's what happened. We talked about, I gave you example of what if like flying cars. China dominates solar industry and killed all the US companies. They killed them because they were producing at such a cheap price that it killed all these other companies. And when they kill all these companies, what can these companies do? They can raise price, right? We're the only company that could produce solar panels. We're gonna sell you for a higher price now, and there's no competition. So that's not a good thing when there's no competition. All right. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna move on and talk about a company, right? Because you always have to talk about a company, and this is a company that you guys know. So
Mm,
here we
I
go.
have to leave.
I know, and we're going to be talking about this company right here,
Oh,
Apple.
okay. Bye.
Right? All right. Well, you can watch the recording later. Okay, yeah. Um. All right. So Apple, what happened today? Not good. Apple went crashed, right? Down 7% for today. Yesterday it went down 10%. So Apple not looking good, right? Um, like in the 6 months, it's down 17%. It was the highest ever, like $270 or so. This was like December. So only like 4 months ago, or less than 4 months ago, it was at the highest ever. And then when sideways and then it crashed. The last few days just went from 225 to 188 today, like today number, very, very low, right? Why is Apple going down so much? It's all had to do with like what we were talking about, tariff, right? So what does this tariff impact? Well, actually, you know what, let's just quickly go around and just read this part. Nina, why don't you start? What does the overview say?
Apple's products are primarily manufactured in countries like China, India, and Vietnam.
Yeah, those are the like factories for Apple, right? Where is Apple based out of? Bina, do you know where Apple is based out of?
Wait, do you mean like
What
where each
country? Yeah,
products
well,
are made?
headquarter, Apple headquarter. Where is Apple headquarter?
Um, wait, like the main like
Country. What country is it
the
then?
country?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know.
Not sure? All
Wait,
right, where is
wait,
Apple, everybody? Well, everybody, anyone else who know? Where is Apple based out of? Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
China?
oh, that's made in China. Yep. Aragon, what about you?
It's in California.
Yeah, California, United States. It's made in US. So Apple is a US company. But when you look at it, it says made in China. Well, it's Apple US company made in China, right? It kind of doesn't make sense, or does it not? Well, it's saying Apple products are primarily manufactured in countries like China, what did that call? China, India, and Vietnam. Um, so even though it's a US company, they have to pay tariff, right? It's not asking these other countries, companies to pay tariff, US companies have to pay tariff too if they're producing these things outside of US. I don't know. What do you think of that? Especially here, tariff impact. You've been one. Do you want to read this one? What does this one say? Tariff impact.
The new tariffs impose up to 54% duties on products from these countries, significantly affecting Apple's production costs.
Yeah, so Apple will have to pay so much more if they're making these things in China, India, and Vietnam. And Apple does that. 54%. So that's like the iPhone is gonna be 54% more expensive, which is terrible, right? And then Hayun, you want to read the next part, stock performance.
Stock performance following the tariff announcement, Apple's stock experienced its most significant drop in 5 years.
Yeah, so in the last 5 years, the last 3 days went down. I forget the exact number. I think it was like close to $500 billion in the last 3 days. Apple lost like stock value. It's crazy, right? The M7 companies we talked about lost $1 trillion in one day. $1 trillion. Do you know what 1 trillion is? Here, I'll just put it in chat. $1 trillion is kind of hard to imagine this. Right? Let's see, that's million, billion. That amount in one day, M7 companies lost that much value in one day. Yesterday, kind of crazy. But you could see why Apple went down so much. So just to show you Apple, so Apple stock right here went down 7% today. Yesterday went from like 223 all the way crashed down here, right? So it was pretty high, just like 2 days ago it was $224, and then just went boom and crashed. Yeah, Apple was doing pretty good, right? But then like going really well, and then all of a sudden this thing, and you see like it just falling out of the cliff. It just dropped. And this is the most highest valued company in the world. Apple is at the very top, the number one market cap company in the world, and they lost like, was it 15%? Where did that go? Yeah, in the past 5 days or 1 week, it lost 13%. So pretty significant number. But when you look at Apple in the long term, I keep telling you, you gotta think about long term, right? Apple long term looks kind of like this. So if you bought Apple stocks 30, no wait, when you were born, let's say 2013, 14, 15, right? Around that number, your birth year, everybody, 2013, 14, 15, right? Let's say that was like $14, so you would have made more than 10 times. Even if the market crashed like this, you still be making money, right? So that, again, that's why you do long-term investment. You don't do short-term. All right, so Apple is known for this one. They have factories all over the world, and that's why they have to pay tariff. It's a US company, but they are all over the world. So here's another, let me do this one. They have a relationship with Samsung. They have relationship with Japan, uh, China, like European countries, Mexico, Malaysia, Indonesia. You see all like these sort of factories that make up Apple products all over the world. And that's why tariff is such a big thing for Apple, because one of the best thing it does is that it uses the world as like a production. It finds the cheapest and best, let's say, camera maker, and gets camera of the iPhone made. The the batteries is made from like another company somewhere else. I don't know, the semiconductor, of course, like Nvidia, right, which is also from TSMC, right, which is all from ASML. We talked about semiconductors, right? It's all over the world. So just looking at China, 84% of Apple's top 187 suppliers had factories in China last year. Just all over the China. And this is why, again, tariff China equals bad for Apple. So here's like one quick exercise, one second exercise we'll be doing. I want you to try to create a visual map of Apple product, let's say iPhone, from raw materials to the customer, right? So imagine you need to you're making this iPhone, right? This is an iPhone, um, and you have like parts inside here, right? All right, so maybe I'll sort of help you a little bit. You see iPhone, oops, iPhone parts, like made from like country. I don't know. Maybe we'll look at graphics a little bit. You can see something like this. Well, this is iPhone 6, but you see how this chart works. You have rare minerals from China. You have the TSMC, Samsung creating this processor, a memory from Samsung, display from Japan, camera from Japan, storage from Japan, battery from China, like all of these things, right? Like you have these parts of iPhone made from all over the world. So I want you to do a little bit of research and to find which part of iPhone, right? That's the number one for business for Apple. Where do they come from? Right? So try to come up with like a map or, whether it's something like this, or you could just kind of, so here's another example here, right? Try to do some search and then, yeah, look at their Apple's supply line, right? You find one of these as example, as you can see here, and then just put it in a slide here too. So you guys are already on this slide. Page 32, 33, so just write your name and then get an image, or you could write in text, some key components of iPhone and which countries um, produce that or make that for Apple. Okay, so take, I don't know, 5 minutes doing this, because we want to look into like really understanding how this like iPhone works. Right? Who are their suppliers, partners, and why is tariff such a big thing for Apple? I mean, it wiped out. Oh, basically, here's what I'll say. In the last 2 days alone, um, Apple's value got wiped out. You know how much it got wiped out? The size of Samsung Electronics. It's like you deleted Samsung Electronics, like you just erased it. That's how much Apple lost in 2 days, right? Pretty big amount. So anyway, let's just take a few minutes to research their supply chain. What goes into iPhone? Which parts come from what country? So try to come up with, I don't know, however you want to do it, like a visual map or actual map or arrows. You could try to be creative. Okay. So again, go to the Google Doc and page 32, 33, 34, 35, anywhere there. And write down or draw or copy image from where are different parts of iPhone made from. And I'll put something on page 32, like some examples, in case you have a hard time finding some of these things. Right, I'm putting something on 32, so you can skip that one, but examples. So third one.
Could we just put a single pic of like the entire thing in one?
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever you find, as long as it has like good things, yeah.
Teacher,
Yes.
I don't know how to put pictures, but I
Oh,
don't
you
know how to
just copy
send
and
them.
paste it. You could copy and paste it. Just do
I don't
copy.
know how to do.
Um, just go to a picture and like do right click and then go copy image, copy, and then just go to the slide and paste it. Or Control C or Command C. I don't know if you're using Mac or PC, but Control C to copy, Control V to paste.
But they're all Korean.
Uh, you should still see the same. It should be the same key though. Still Control C, Control V. Control C is to copy, Control V is to paste.
Oh, I think I did it.
Okay, great. So just another minute or so, just find one image, or you could just write things or find things, article, link, whatever it is. Just try to find Apple's key suppliers. Yeah, and which countries? So Mina, like where are they coming from? It's like the important thing, right? Right, Hayon, so that's like Apple. So like which parts like come from what countries? So we're looking into supply chain, right? How is iPhone made or put together? So let me just do a quick sharing again, just in case. So when you look at this screen, this is iPhone, right? At the top, like you break down iPhone, it has different parts to it. All these parts are made from like different companies and different countries. And you can see some examples here that I put down here and then on page on 31 and 32. So yeah, but find something different and um, think about how many companies or countries are involved in helping put together an iPhone for Apple. Are you guys finding things okay? Hard to find? Yeah. So this is all called, and it's okay. This is like practice, supply chain. And we're gonna practice one um, next class too. Um, so and when you look at this, you know what? Maybe I'll do a quick sharing of screen and you guys could talk about it and then I'll give you another minute for you to find things. Apple is known for its supply chain. So basically using the world as a factory and knowing exactly where to get something from where and making it cheapest and as best as possible. they're the best at that. Still having a hard time finding? Yeah. How about everybody else? Are you guys finding okay? If you Google like Apple supply chain, you should see like either images or I don't know, websites, news related to that. Because again, that is what it's known for. All right, you know what we'll do, like because we're running late, so I want to make sure we at least try to finish at the bottom of the hour. So maybe let's just do a quick sharing of what you have found, and it's okay if you haven't found a lot of things. That's okay, right? Because we're learning, right? This like learning what to search for and how to find things. So again, now sure we'll do like this, like it could be cars, phones, or things like this. You have components made from many, many different parts of the world. Um, the company we talked about last week, ASML, is the most complicated, um, I guess, product, right? With 100,000 parts from many, many different countries. So that is like the most complicated device in the history of human, right? One of the most complicated anyway. iPhone isn't that complex, but it still uses parts from, you see this map from all over the world. So it has like LG, SK, Samsung from Korea, from Japan, Toshiba, like Sony, TDK, has things from China, obviously, from Europe, all over the world, right? So that's what we want to find out. So I will just go to the next page. So same thing here. You see like different components, right? Camera, Sony uses Sony camera, uses like Samsung battery, um, like all these different parts, right? This is like the logic board or memory board for iPhone 15. You can see like companies from all over the world. So Apple does not make an iPhone. They just design it and have all these suppliers in the world make them for them, right? So that's what Apple does really, really, really well. Like, as in the best in the world at doing this, exactly this. So, let's see, Mina, yeah, just briefly share your findings. You're muted. Oh, go ahead.
So what are different types of iPhone made from? iPhones are made from a variety of materials, including metals like aluminum, titanium, iron, gold, and copper, as well as glass, plastics, and rare earth elements. And like most of it, or like final assembly primarily taking place in China, like
Yeah.
and key suppliers for Apple's iPhones include contract manufacturers like Foxconn, Hon Precision Industry, Pegatron, and Wistron, along with component suppliers like TSMC for chips, Qualcomm for modems, Broadcom for wireless chips, and Sony for camera sensors.
Yeah, and then the last part, you want to finish the last part?
Yeah, iPhones are made from a complex mix of raw materials and components sourced globally, including metals like platinum, gold, and rare earth elements, as I said earlier. And as I said earlier, it all mostly takes place in China, so they can find these materials mostly in China.
Yeah, so they get all these supplies from different parts of the world, mostly China, but different parts of the world, including Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, and they put all of them together, assembles in China. Yes, that's what Apple does. Um, yeah, so Hayin, you want to just quickly talk about this?
Teacher, but I did more than that, but why does it?
Yeah, I'll just refresh it. Yep, go ahead.
Many countries are involved making iPhones, including China, Taiwan, India, Vietnam, and United States. As of 2021, Apple and uses components from 43 countries. The major of assembling is done by Taiwanese original design manufacturer Friends Foxconn
Pick a
Electron Wistron and Compal Electronics with factories mostly located inside China, but also Brazil and India. Um, yeah.
Yeah, great. So not just China, but Brazil, India. Yes, they have factories here too. And then just this image example, um, the gyroscope, or that's where like when you do directions on the phone, it knows like, for example, if you have a map, it will know how you rotate the phone. That's gyroscope. It's a part of the phone, right? Sorry. I'm sorry, that's actually accelerometer. That's what it is. Direction, and if you drop it, like how high you go, um, it can measure all of those things. And all those sensors are made from different parts of the world. All right, great. Next is Yubin, go ahead.
The iPhone components come from a global network of suppliers with key parts sourced from companies in South Korea, China, Taiwan, Japan, and the United States, with final assembly primarily occurring in China.
Yeah, great. Yep. So, and this image like showing like, yeah, different countries, like different parts of the phone. Um, and then yeah, China putting together the whole thing together, right? Um, all right, great. And then I think, wait, Aaron, do you have yours? Where did you put yours? Oh, this one. Yep, go ahead.
So basically, um, Apple like designs all the all like designs the phone, and then lots of different companies like the memory, like the chips, or like the actual producing, the putting together is all here, as you see in the very left iPhone thing. Its locations are mostly in like China, mostly Asia, and Germany. Germany and Asia is mostly where China. And yeah, some key partners are like TSMC, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So like, and again, that's, do you think they'll be easy or hard? Say the Earth, like all these countries in the world are potential factories, and finding the materials, making some parts and then putting them together. Do you think that's an easy thing or difficult thing? What do you guys think? Easy or hard? You could write it in chat. Do you think that's a complex? Yeah, Aragon, go ahead.
Complex because you have to go through many different steps and have lots of different partnerships.
Yeah, over 40 countries, right? Like many different parts and partners and countries. You have to manage all of that. If one company, like let's say a camera company stops producing, you can't make iPhone. You can't make iPhone without camera, right? Then you have to find backup to that backup. And so managing like entire world as a factory is a very complicated process. And Apple does that better than any company in the world. That's why they're the most valuable company in the world. Number one, right? In terms of company value, number one in the world. But yeah, when you think about tariff, well, now that's problematic, right? So just to wrap up, just to show you, this is Apple. The last Q4. So iPhone makes up more than anything else, right? You can see iPhone $46.2 billion compared to MacBook, which is much smaller, iPad smaller, Apple Watch, AirPods much smaller, and services is growing really big. So Apple TV, Apple Music, Cloud, like Apple News, those type of things make up a lot of money now too. Anyway, last 3 months they generated $100 billion in revenue. And of that, their gross profit was 46%, $44 billion, and operating profit, $30 billion. And they paid about $15 billion in taxes. So their net profit, like they made $15 billion in cash in 3 months, October, November, December last year. Still pretty good company, right? Again, the key thing about Apple, the number one innovation is supply chain. Knowing exactly like the entire world and figuring out where to get the cheapest parts and how to make it the best. Right? And working with partners. That's they're number one at that in the world. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, in terms of their revenue, Americas, like North America, South America, make up 44% in 2024. Europe, 26%. You see China, like 16%. China is a big customer for Apple. So when US, China are fighting each other, tariff war, is that a good thing or bad thing for Apple? It's not just bad, it's a terrible thing for Apple, right? Terrible, terrible thing for Apple, where a lot of their it's assembled in China. All these component parts come from different parts of the world and made in China, and shipped to US. So even though it's a US company that's shipping to US, it's going to have tariff. 30%, 40%, 50% tariff. That's terrible. So yeah, that's going to impact, again, iPhone makes up significant portion of Apple. So here's, I guess, final question that I'll ask you. What do you think of Apple? Do you think they will survive this? And do you also think the innovative company will end with that? What do you guys think? Because iPhone might not be the best phone, right? Some people could, I think successfully argue that Samsung makes better phones. But what is an Apple innovative company? Yes, no, maybe. I mean, I would say I think it still is because that supply chain part, it's not the phone, but being able to work with entire world and figuring out where to get different parts and then putting it together, that takes lots of like I don't know, lots of innovation to do something like that. So here's final question. Would you invest in Apple going forward? I know it lost a lot this week, 15, 20%. What do you guys think? Would you invest in Apple long term? Yes or no? Yes, maybe, no. What do you guys say? So yes, yes. Mina, so. Aragon, what about yes? Okay. Yeah, so we'll see what the market brings next week. But yeah, so this is why tariff has impacted these stocks so much, right? Because it's not just one country. These products are made from multiple countries. So every time things go back and forth across border, you're paying tax. Like that doesn't work, right? So hopefully that tax will go away. If not, we're going to have more um, you know, negative numbers next week. So we'll see. So let's see what happens next week, and we'll meet and talk again next week. All right. Well, then that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.